hello. Pause that. Okay. Where is this game? Hi, everyone. Hello. Hello, Ninja. Hello, Sarah's an amazing cow. Hello, Nate. Normal. Yeah, hi. Is this gonna... Okay, cool. I'm trying not to have, like, a breakdown, so don't worry about it. I'm so stressed. I'm so beyond stressed, and it's my own fault, but, you know. Sometimes that is what it is. Okay, I hope you're all having a good week so far. A decent Monday. A bearable Monday. That's all that we can really ask for at this point. I'm just closing something so not so much is open. And then we should be good to go. Oh, right. I was like, what are we doing? We're trying to solve a lot of murders. We're with a dragon. I completely forgot we were with a dragon. I completely forgot there was a dragon at this point in time. So if you're wondering how much I remembered, I didn't realize we'd gotten to court. So I feel like I could have named my stream something different. Sorry, I'm adjusting my sound levels because I changed all of them this week and for server stream. See, I need to write a statement of purpose, and I've written about, like, 7 different, like, handfuls of sentences, and I hate all of them, and they're all wildly different, and none of them are good, and I have no direction. And that's bad, so what can you do about it? Oh no! I stopped us here! I assume I read this already, but I'll read this now because I don't remember what we're doing. I was with my sisters and my guide, Eris Ilmater. I was speaking with him in the garden when I suddenly felt ill and lost consciousness. When I woke up, my sisters found me. They said I had gone missing for over an hour. I was confused, but when I later heard what happened, I realized that someone must have taken control of my body. I have no memories of what happened. And from what I understand, the same thing happened to Arya. And to make matters worse, there's nothing that indicates who may have controlled our actions. Okay. What do we have? Uh-huh. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Motion blade. Murderer's route. Report. This will be along with Alaric. Yeah, mine is due in a month if I want to be considered for, like, early stuff, and I need to get it in really as soon as possible, but I have no idea. Nate gave me, like, a bunch of advice, and I'm like, this is so cool and helpful. It would be more cool and helpful if I could answer any of your questions, but I can't. Maybe I just start pressing. I am skimming these, just trying to remember. I honestly, like, when I say I remembered a bunch of people were dead, but I didn't remember about Arya. I didn't remember about the dragon. I didn't remember about this weird place. So. She has that on her. We got spells, and we got proofiels. What about this dude? Yeah, academia soup. Let's start pressing, boys.
She's been missing since the massacre happened. I really hope she's okay.
Oh, make no mistake. She's definitely okay.
What makes you so sure? Do you remember anything about what happened to her?
No, but it's just a feeling.
Shit. Oh no. Oh god. Oh god, he had a voice.
Enough of your speculation. Tell us what happened next, Frigga. If they were with you, shouldn't your sisters have noticed this? According to Leafy and Miriam, their pet dog was running amok in the hallways. They left the witness with Ilmater to chase him down, and when the sisters returned to the garden, both Beatrice and Ilmater were gone. Do you remember anything after that?
No, I really want to remember, but I can't.
Glitch moment. Eris, leave us alone, for the love of God. She certainly looks like she's telling the truth, but history shows that she's hardly trustworthy.
And you have no memories of what happened?
No, not at all. I can only imagine what I was forced to do while I was unconscious.
Forced? What do you mean by that? So you're also saying that someone else controlled your body?
Yes, it's the only explanation for why you saw me in the prayer room.
Objection!
Okay.
Absolutely ridiculous. Arcane magic is not capable of mind control.
I lost his voice. I thought I had it and now it's gone.
You're spinning a fairy tale to absolve yourself.
You're compelled to agree with him, so why do you feel like something's wrong?
Think what you will, but please believe me when I say...
Your statement does match up with what happened to my client. But you clearly already knew what happened to her. You could just be using that knowledge to fabricate an ally.
I suppose I can't blame you for thinking that after what you saw. Mr. Cuthbert, I know it doesn't mean much coming from me, but I am telling the truth.
That remains to be seen. Why would you even bring that up?
Well, if you had evidence that someone else was controlling us, it would exonerate both me and Arya. Think, Mr. Cuthbert, isn't there anything... That would be the best case scenario, wouldn't it? Ugh.
Girl, we are trying to do our jobs. Can you leave us the fuck alone?
What?
It's nothing. She looks extremely frustrated for some reason. The way she's testifying is a little bit strange. She immediately concluded that someone had taken control of her, and why would she bring up what happened to Arya? Okay. Detect magic. We didn't find anything. Stone skin. Glyph of contingency. Dispel magic. Frog. Steel wind strike. Cold creature. Okay.
Objection!
Why would she say something like that? You found the contradiction, but it was almost like she gave it to you.
Beatrice, you said there's no indication of who orchestrated this. But there is one piece of evidence that does just that, albeit loosely.
And what would that be?
This symbol?
You pull out the parchment with the purple mark on it and show it to her.
Marnath, what are you doing?
What's wrong?
He's using his powers to suppress our connection.
Magic.
I can't actually see what you're trying to show me.
Marnath, can you stop being petty and just let her see it?
I don't take orders from you, Heavensborn.
I wonder, Mr. Cuthbert, what is on that parchment?
You see, Beatrice, Arya has been investigating a string of murders throughout Wyverngard. These murders appear to be unrelated, despite how gruesome they are. But they all share one thing in common. This symbol was found at each and every crime scene.
Objection!
Don't tell me my daughter has roped you into a little conspiracy theory. Your mind-control defense would be laughable if it weren't downright insulting. Lord Steelwind, during the gap in Arya's memory, someone placed this mark in her pocket.
Her pocket? Come on.
It was clearly some sort of taunt from whoever orchestrated this. Nonsense, she clearly drew that symbol herself during her psychotic episode. I've had to listen to her go on and on about her insane theory. She was obsessed with it.
Mr. Cuthbert, aren't you curious about what just happened?
What are you talking about?
Think about it. Why did... My apologies. I don't know why I said that.
Eris, I swear to God. Shut up.
Ugh. Is everything okay, Beatrice?
Yes. I'm perfectly fine. Anyways, It looks like you'll have to figure out the rest on your own.
Figure out the rest on my own? What do you mean by that? There's nothing to figure out. Your Grace, these two are making a mockery of us by spouting these insane theories. The defense clearly has no case. End this at once.
Far be it from me to remember this dude's voice.
Considering what I know, I'd like to indulge this theory.
I believe he was British.
What?
The judge is finally giving you a chance for once. That's a first. You shouldn't waste this opportunity. You've actually been noticing it for quite a while. Beatrice has been acting strangely since the trial began. It's suspicious, but not in the way that seems to implicate her. It's almost like she's intentionally trying to make you realize something. Why don't you pull on this thread a little more? She just asked if you were curious about what happened. You're not sure why she stopped herself when you asked for an elaboration. What event was Beatrice referring to? But whatever she's trying to draw your attention to must be significant. Marnath. He didn't allow Beatrice to see the purple mark. He'd only do that if Beatrice would recognize it normally. Why would Marnath interfere? Marnath is her familiar and he's familiar and he used to follow her orders. But things have clearly changed now that she belongs to the Empress of Discord, howling at the moon. So why would a demon like Marnath interfere like this? Is the mastermind, the purple mark, is related to demon? No, okay. Is preventing. He's a demon who shouldn't care about the politics of Wyvern. The purple mark is the mastermind is hiding, is related to the no, sorry, I had to sneeze like a bunch. Okay. It's really I don't entirely know what I'm trying to get to here. I mean, the purple mark has to be related to Eris, but I don't know how. Did I already do related to a demon? Are you kidding me? I thought that was the first one I did. Okay. The purple mark must be related to a demon somehow. That's the only explanation as to why he would prevent her from seeing the mark. But Arya has been investigating murders throughout Wyverngard. Does this mean her investigation also has something to do with a demon? Arya suspected that each of the murderers was acting against their will. And now both Arya and Beatrice are also claiming that they were controlled. How could something demonic control Beatrice? You can't explain what happened to Arya and those other individuals, but you do know why Beatrice might not have full control of her actions. You recall what was written on Beatrice's contract during her trial. It said what would happen if she failed to claim House Freyga. Her soul, her mind, and her life would all be claimed by the Empress of Discord, howling at the moon. What does this tell us about Arya? If this Empress of Discord owns Beatrice's mind, would that mean they could also control Beatrice against her will? But if that were true, what does this tell us about Arya? Arya doesn't have her mind. Lost her mind, control of her mind. during... I mean, I guess due to a blood contract. Arya, what did you sell your soul for, girl? Please don't tell me it was a man. I love that guy. I love Aster. Please don't tell me you sold your soul for a dude. Come on, girl. No, that can't be right, can it? Did Arya seriously sign a blood contract with a demon? But why would she ever do that? But it's the conclusion that makes most sense. You can't think of any other way someone could control her against her will. And there is one way to find out for certain. The Divine Edict. The same ability you used against Beatrice during her trial. It was instinctual at the time, but you have some understanding of how it works. It creates a copy of a blood contract between a contract holder and the demon who created it. But for it to work, you need to know the name of the contract holder. In addition to that, you need to know the name of the demon who created the contract. Which demon did Arya make a blood contract with? Right now, you're only relying on guesswork, but going off what you know, the demon who made the contract must be... I mean, it has to be the Empress of Discord. Howling at the moon. Yeah, what a weirdly specific power, right? That is really specific. The so-called Empress of Discord. I'm gonna stop making that joke. She was mentioned in Beatrice's blood contract, but you still have no idea who or what she is. However, she was mentioned in a blood contract created by Meronath. She must be his superior in some way. That might explain why Meronath doesn't want Beatrice to identify the purple mark. You're not sure if a pseudonym is enough, but it's the closest you can get with what you know so far.
You've been awfully quiet for a while, Mr. Cuthbert. What are you thinking about? He's probably imagining new ways to futilely stall for time. I think I finally figured out why the witness and the defendant can't remember anything. And it would also explain why they didn't have control of their actions.
Objection!
Again with this. If you're so convinced of my daughter's conspiracy, why don't you prove it? I knew it. Even you don't believe in the nonsense you're spouting. Lord Steelwind, I want to be wrong about this. If I'm right, the implications don't bode well for anyone involved. So instead of telling you, I think it'd be better to show you. Empress of Discord, wherever you may hide.
Maybe in the voice channel.
Damn it.
I knew you could do it.
By the Eye of Horus, I issue upon you a divine edict. Release thy guards and manifest your blood contract with Arya Steelwind.
Arya's blood contract has been added to your notes. The blood contract seems strange. Unlike Beatrice's contract, it's only one page. Even stranger, there's a large empty space at the top half of the page. There are only a few sentences at the bottom. For the intentions of this contract, the person who hands the contract to Arya Steelwind will be referred to as the patron. By signing this contract, Arya Steelwind surrenders her mind, body, and soul to the patron. This contract will bind Arya Steelwind to the patron so long as they both live. It's signed with Arya's signature.
No, this can't be true. This is...
God, the proportions are a little off. The proportions are a little off in this courtroom. I mean, they've always been a little off. The proportions are always a little off.
Enough. Stop prattling amongst yourselves.
Objection!
No, this is a sham. This wretch has clearly created a convincing fabrication. It's genuine, Lucio. It's impossible to falsify something like this. You can't deny the truth anymore, Lord Steelwind.
I'm gonna try to make their voices more distinct next time, but not trying very well right now.
There is a way to control someone else's actions. Arya Steelwind wasn't affected by Mage Blight. She was controlled against her will. With this evidence, there's no doubt that Arya did sign a blood contract, but it still doesn't make sense. I agree, even if Arya was the type of person to sign a contract with a demon, there isn't a single part of this contract that benefits her.
Why would Arya sign this contract? I mean, there's like nothing on it. It's super vague. Was she tricked? That's an option. Hell yeah.
There's a large empty space above the terms of your daughter's contract. When I issue a divine edict, it creates a copy of the blood contract that I call for. I think when she was given this contract, it probably looked like something entirely different. Something else was written in the empty space to make it look like a normal legal document, which means that my client was not in control of her actions that day.
Objection!
Jesus.
Enough of this, all of you. Do you see now, Lord Steelwind? Arya was not responsible for what happened. That remains to be proven. What are you talking about? She has a blood contract. She has a blood contract that relinquishes control of her free will. Not having control and not being responsible are two very different things, Cuthbert. What? I'll admit the defendant may not have had control of her actions when she murdered the victims. However, she did have full control of herself when she signed this contract. Are you serious? No one in their right mind would willingly sign a contract like this. And what of Beatrice Frege? Was she in her right mind when she made a contract with the demon Merodach? If we can't hold the defendant responsible, surely we could also acquit Lady Frege for the murder of her father. That's hardly the same thing. I, for one, fail to see the difference. The fool made a deal with a demon, and as a result, several esteemed members of the nobility were killed.
Yeah, that's not great. That isn't good for them. No, one sec, let me check my email. I have so many. Who is emailing me? Oh. These are all confirmation emails for me trying to get transcripts. We don't need any of these, actually. Whatever. One sec.
She's your daughter, Lucio. And how does that change anything?
Damn it. He seriously doesn't care if he convicts Arya.
Honestly, this only places more responsibility on her for what happened. I could have accepted if she had been reckless and accidentally induced mage blood, but to sign a contract with a demon. That only further espouses the need to put her down.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean... Shit, okay.
She was clearly tricked, Lucio. Is that so? As a fellow attorney, would you really sign a contract without carefully inspecting it? Whether it was through foolishness, negligence, or both, the defendant willingly signed a blood contract. She compromised herself, and as a result, 3 nobles died. The responsibility falls squarely on her.
Wait. Even if she willingly signed that contract, that's not entirely true, is it? Who else was responsible for Arya's actions? The Empress of Discord? Or the patron?
Lucio, there's clearly someone else to blame for Arya's actions that day. Oh, and who would that be? I'd like to read my client's blood contract to the court. By signing this contract, Arya Steelwind surrenders her mind, body, and soul to the patron. That can only mean one thing. Whoever this patron is, they took control of my client and used her to murder the victims.
That's right!
They could still be out there.
None of us are safe until this patron is apprehended.
Surely, we can't end this trial while every member of the Wyvern Guard nobility is in danger. Well played. I'm compelled to agree with Mr. Cuthbert. Trickery or not, it's clear someone wished ill intent on the nobles. And until we know who this patron is, you can't pass judgment on my client. Not until we know the circumstances that she signed that blood contract under. And what would you have us do, Cuthbert? The contract has no stipulations about proximity, or how this mind control works. For all we know, this patron could have been murdered. For all we know, this patron could have murdered the victims all while sitting in their very home. There was clear intent behind this attack. Even if the patron didn't directly participate in the murders, they definitely have a motive. If Arya was being controlled, then we can analyze her behavior to determine who is controlling her. I see. That does sound as good a plan as any. At the very least, we can't allow this patron to escape justice. Despite the questions raised, we've clearly made some headway. I believe we should take a brief recess to process these revelations. Very well.
Everyone get out of the crumbly old ruin. I would love to save my progress. You step outside the Scale Lord's lair to get some fresh air. These new revelations are a lot to take in. Celeste looks especially down. She's having a bad time. From what you've observed, her and Arya have been speaking to each other a lot. Aw, girls. They must have become friends over the many times they've met. I can't make a joke yet until we know. You can't imagine how powerless she feels right now. Oh, hey! Arya? Hey, I'm so sorry.
Don't be.
Her voice begins to break. She's always been stoic, but it's clear even she has her breaking point.
I can't imagine what you're feeling right now, but there's still hope. If we can find out who did this to you, we can still save you. Do you remember if you've signed anything recently?
No, I don't.
Damn it, the patron must have wiped your memories to cover their tracks.
But I still don't understand. Even if I don't remember signing that contract, I don't think I would be that careless.
Right. As much as I hate to admit it, Lucio was right. You're an attorney like me, and we always carefully look over contracts before we sign them. Which raises the question of how the patron got your signature.
I don't know.
Damn it. We don't even know what circumstances you were under when you signed that contract. For all we know, the patron could have used any number of tactics to coerce you into doing this.
That's also possible.
Arya? As you're deliberating amongst yourselves, Lord Steelwind approaches you.
What are you doing here, Father? I can't believe him! How does he have nothing to say?
His actions say otherwise, but you could have sworn you saw something through the eye. It's almost as if he was saddened and worried. Well, no matter how he feels internally, he's made it clear that he's your enemy. Whatever his motivations are, you'll overcome him just like everyone else.
We should also head back, Celeste?
Right. No matter what it takes, you're going to see this through. Hello, Hannah. Welcome. You just missed one cross-examination, not too much.
Court is now resumed. Shall we pick up where we carried off? How would you like to proceed? I think we should review what we do know about the murders. We do have a plethora of witnesses to work with. That's correct, so let's start from the beginning. It all began at noon yesterday morning. I was at my house in Rathholm with Arya and my bodyguard, Celeste. I was speaking with them when a courier suddenly delivered a letter to my home.
Oh yeah, that was important. Arya sold her soul to a demon.
It was from Derek Pierce. He wanted to meet with me and Celeste at the Grand Cathedral of the Scale Lord at 2 p.m. To make sure we were on time, we arrived at the Grand Cathedral at 1 p.m. At that time, we didn't know that the cathedral was closed to the public. But the knights guarding the cathedral allowed us through anyways. Apparently they were expecting us. That should not have been possible. Due to the
I've never been able to pronounce this word. Hold on. Solemnity? Solemnity, yeah. Can I do that in his voice?
Due to the solemnity of the situation, we were very particular about who was permitted to enter the cathedral. It's possible someone pulled the string to let us through, or you two entered the cathedral illegally. Well, I'm sure the knight from the King's Guard can vouch for us. I know about every order given to the King's Guard, and none of them were told to let you two through. It's possible the knight we've met fell comatose like the others. As long as they're unresponsive, we'll never know. Perhaps we should continue. Anyways, we arrived at the church and spent the next hour sightseeing before we went to meet Pierce. In that time, we met with Remus, Lucio, Arya, Aster, and Alaric. And around that time, Arya and Aster left together to meet with the High Speaker in his quarters. While exploring the cathedral, we spoke with Von Sanctus and Sybil. Then we spoke with the 3 Frege sisters and Eris Ilmater. Eris Ilmater. She's a friend of Beatrice Frege. The King's Guard wouldn't let her bring her familiar into the cathedral, so she brought Eris to guide her instead. Anyways, we left the garden at around 1:45 p.m. to meet with Pierce in the prayer room. And at around the same time, Arya left her meeting with the High Speaker and felt nauseous. The last thing she remembers is looking at Lake Galacrond. A likely story. Regardless, at 2 p.m., Aster went to pay respects to his father's body. Unbeknownst to him, a mage had placed a glyph of contingency in front of his father's coffin. It was set to trap him with a force cage. What a despicable act! Considering what followed, the attack on His Majesty must have been a diversion. Right. It was also at this time that both Beatrice and Eris went missing. Considering the timing of it all, someone must have taken control of Beatrice's body after the trap that on Aster was sprung. Are you saying this patron controlled her as well? No, I don't think so. According to her contract, her mind belongs to the Empress of Discord, not the patron. Furthermore, Arya's blood contract was created by the Empress. It's clear that the patron and the Empress were in league with each other. Wonderful. Another demon we have to worry about. Anyways, the patron and the Empress had all of the pieces they needed. That's when they began the massacre. The patron took control of Arya's body, and they used her to murder Von Sanctus at 2:05 p.m. Presumably, Arya started a fire in the common room around this time, and since Von Sanctus's body was found there, this must have been after she murdered him. Shortly after, Prince Alaric spotted smoke from the fire and asked Arya what was going on. Arya responded by using an unknown transmutation spell to incapacitate him. To think they would use her to attack the prince as well. Luckily, the effects of that spell were only temporary, and Alaric came out unharmed. After this, the patron used Arya to murder Sybil at 2:15 p.m. She brought Sybil's body to the westward balcony where she dumped it into Lake Galacrond. High Speaker Arceus witnessed this, but he wasn't aware that what she'd thrown off the balcony until much later. The High Speaker thought this encounter was strange, but he continued with his business. He headed to the prayer room, but was turned away by the knights standing guard there. Meanwhile, Celeste and I were talking to Lord Pierce, who looks vacuum-sealed into this outfit. When we showed up for the meeting earlier, he was clearly expecting someone else to show up. We tried to get to the bottom of what was happening, but he refused to answer our questions. And at about 2:20 p.m., we heard a commotion outside. Celeste went to investigate. And that's when Celeste fought Arya. The patron's target was Garrick Pierce, but Celeste was too powerful to neutralize. They fought each other for about 15 minutes before Arya was finally able to push past her. Hold on, I need to send a message real quick. Because I've thought it every time and I need to send it to somebody. During their fight, the Empress sent Beatrice into the prayer room. She probably made Beatrice invisible to move undetected. She then used her to cast the sleep spell on Pierce and me to knock us out. I remember checking the time close to when this happened. This must have happened at 2:30 p.m. If your testimony is correct, Beatrice Frege was actively used in this plan. Yes, and considering how quickly the massacre unfolded, the Empress must have coordinated with the patron. They probably planned how they would use Beatrice and Arya to carry out the murders. Anyway, after Beatrice knocked us out, Arya finally pushed past Celeste and entered the prayer room. And before Celeste could chase after her, she had already murdered Pierce. Arya and I were already unconscious by the time Celeste entered the room. The patron had already achieved the goal of murdering the three nobles, so she probably fell unconscious after they released their control over her. Arya and I regained consciousness shortly after. That's when the Inquisition arrested her for the murders. Lord Pierce was one of the victims. Your meeting clearly had more significance than I'd realized. So tell us, Cuthbert, what was your discussion about?
It's fine. You can tell him.
Alright, as long as it's okay with you. For the past few months, Celeste and I have been investigating who her birth parents are. Now, I recall receiving many complaints about her during the Lord's Ball. Supposedly, Garrick Pierce had the information we were seeking. The letter he sent us said that he wanted to trade this information for his freedom. I assumed that this meant he wanted me to be his attorney. Do you honestly expect us to believe that? Why would he ask help from the attorney who indicted him in the first place? We thought the same thing, and when we arrived for the meeting, it was clear I wasn't the intended recipient. This means that Pierce sent that letter to someone else. You better not be lying to us, Cuthbert. Frankly, I don't much care if you believe me.
At least he's straightforward about it.
Regardless, if we examine every action Arya took, we can build a psychological profile of the patron. I will give you that. To begin, the defense would like to call the Inquisition commander to the stand.
Jesus Christ.
His testimony might shed some light on how Von Sanctus and Sybil died. Despite all these witness accounts, we still only know how Pierce was murdered. Yes, he was impaled using a blade, magically frozen from his own blood.
In a grim sort of way, it's almost poetic that he died the same way Flintheart did. But you doubt that will give Celeste any kind of closure?
Anyways, we need to find out exactly how Arya murdered Von Sanctus and Sybil. The massacre was swift and efficient. It must have required a lot of forethought and coordination. If we figured out who might have had this knowledge, we might be able to find out who did this. I see. That sounds as good a plan as any. Kingsguard, escort Commander Orem White to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Right, I
can never get his voice down, and I don't know why.
Commander, I'm sorry, I can't do this. How am I supposed to act like this is normal? A giant lizard is standing right behind me. Calling me a lizard is highly offensive, Commander. So sorry you scare lordship, sir.
I don't know.
Commander, just try your best to testify about what happened. Yeah.
I needed a drink so bad, hold on.
It all started when we received a report from the Kingsguard. The prosecutor attacked Prince Alaric and a fire had broken out in the common room. We weren't sure what the deal with Sealwind was, so we went to the common room to put out the fire. But when we got there, we noticed a bunch of unconscious knights in front of the prayer room. We went to the prayer room. That's when we found Sealwind and Cuthbert unconscious next to Pierce's dead body. We later found the bodies of Von Sanctus and Sybil too. That's when we realized that she offed all three of them.
Great, good testimony.
So you still have no idea how Steelwind was used to murder Von Sanctus or Sybil? Not a clue. It's especially worse for Von Sanctus. The fire burned a lot of the physical evidence off his body. What about Sybil? Was there any physical evidence on her body? No idea about that either. She didn't have any wounds either. All we know is that she died from suffocation.
There's definitely more information you can glean from their investigation. Okay. Ooh, okay. That last statement was a little vague. Perhaps you should ask him to elaborate more on one of the murders. But whose murder should he elaborate on? Oh, maybe the dragon is wearing fishnets, you know? Let's start at the top.
Could you elaborate more on Von Sanctus's murder? Was there any evidence that implied how he died? Like I said, it's trickier with Von Sanctus because the fire partially burned his body, and our divination magic could only tell that he died of suffocation. I see, so there's no other physical evidence? Well, there is one thing.
Yeah, the scales do just look like fishnets, don't they? That's really funny.
From his burn marks, we do know that he was hit with a firebolt before he died. We're guessing that she wanted to weaken him before she dealt the final blow. So he took a direct attack from her before he died. Anyways, please add this to your testimony, Commander White. Sure, whatever you say, kid.
What is in her compendium? Okay.
From the burns on his body, she must have hit him with a firebolt to keep him from getting away. He didn't have anything to defend himself with.
Objection!
That's strange. What is it now? Commander White, you said that Steelwind attacked Von Sanctus with a firebolt before she suffocated him. Yeah, she probably wanted to injure him so it'd be easier to subdue. But that's what I find strange. Von Sanctus knew he was under attack. So when he cast Force Cage to repel her? I guess that's true. Von Sanctus was hardly a warrior, Cuthbert. Force Cage is an extremely useful spell, but it has to be aimed. He was hit with a firebolt, and he must have been in immense pain. I doubt he'd be able to think clearly under those circumstances. I normally agree with you, but the crime scene tells another story. What do you mean, Mr. Cuthbert?
What implies that Von Sanctus casts Force Cage?
When we investigated the crime scene, we found traces of abjuration magic that formed a perfect square around the body. I'm sure if we measured the dimensions of that square, it would be 10 feet by 10 feet, which is the same length and width as a cube created by Force Cage. Like you said, he was in no shape to aim it. So we cast Force Cage on himself to create a makeshift barrier. Nonsense. If Von Sanctus had cast Force Cage on himself, he should have been protected from further harm. The defendant wouldn't have been able to suffocate him after that. Perhaps there's some way to bypass Force Cage? And once again, your ignorance of the arcane arts is made apparent.
Nope, I didn't want to be in there. I dropped my phone.
Force Cage is one of the most powerful abjuration spells in existence. It cannot be dispelled, and no one can teleport in or out of it. Right. Aster was also trapped in a Force Cage, and he had to wait for the hour duration to elapse. So how did Steelwind suffocate him? Wait, if Force Cage is a perfectly closed space, is it possible that he ran out of air? That would be a glaring weakness. House Von Sanctus obviously designed that spell to allow oxygen through the barrier, and before you ask poisonous gases can't be pushed through the barrier either.
That seems fucking convenient. I guess if you're designing the spell, then yeah, but seems convenient.
Only oxygen can travel through it. Right, even if they had used poisonous gas, the autopsy report wouldn't have said he was suffocated. How did Arya suffocate Von Sanctus?
So how did Arya suffocate Von Sanctus despite that? Arya consumed all the oxygen in the room with the fire. Is this the common room? I think it's the common room. Okay, maybe she didn't do that. Maybe it wasn't Arya did it. Maybe it's just the fire. Like, she cast the fire and the fire used up the oxygen, but I said Arya because it's the same thing. Wrong subject. Yeah, it was tasty. It was tasty.
The Force Cage is specifically designed to allow oxygen through its barrier. But what if there was no oxygen left in the room? No oxygen. Ah, I see. It was the fire in the common room. The patron knew Arya couldn't harm Von Sanctus once he was in the Force Cage, so she started a fire to eat all the oxygen within the room. What should have protected him ended up trapping him, and the inability to dispel it ended up sealing his fate.
Whisper, whisper, whisper. Gossip, gossip.
Well, I suppose that explains how the defendant murdered Von Sanctus, but with that in mind, a lot of this plan sounds like it was improvised in the moment. Just like the murder of Pierce. And not only that, we assume that the patron used the same method to kill both Lord Von Sanctus and Lady Sybil, but I doubt Lady Sybil died under the same circumstances. Correct, there was only one fire. And if Sybil were in the Force Cage, the defendant wouldn't have been able to throw her body into Lake Galakrond, which means Sybil must have died by asphyxiation elsewhere. Then it's clear our next course of action is to determine how Lady Sybil was murdered. We still don't know where she was murdered, and the only witness who saw her around this time was the High Speaker. Which was after the defendant
Do I have, like, autoplay on? What's happening?
Which was after the defendant disposed of Sybil's body, Well, the High Speaker's testimony is as good a start as any. For our next witness, the defense would like to call High Speaker Theon Arceus to the stand. What's wrong? It's nothing. Please carry on. Kingsguard, escort High Speaker Arceus to the witness stand.
What does the... Dude, just tell me what's I forgot he looked like that.
Witness, you will testify about... Oh, great and blessed Scaled Lord! To think you would grace us with your presence! Oh my god. Forgive me, Lord Rathalion, I spoke out of turn. He must think I'm an ignorant fool.
Wow! Looks like the witness is schmoozing to the judge for once.
How many times do I have to tell you people that I am not a god? Yes, I revere and serve the god of dragons, but I am not Bahamut's avatar. But you're the Scaled Lord. I'm just a dragon. I'm not even a powerful one.
We got a lame-ass dragon over here, guys. A lame-ass weak dragon. Boo.
I'm not a deity. This humility.
There's something about this specific sprite that drives me nuts. It's so funny to me.
That's exactly what Bahamut's avatar would say. I swear to God. He even swears by the god's name. Lucio, please handle this. Perhaps another approach is warranted. High Speaker Arceus, the great and powerful Rathalion calls upon you today. We require your... You require my blood. Of course, I will gladly give my life for the Scaled Lord.
Oh, it's gone off the rails.
What? No. Of course, my blood could never be enough. Would you just let me... I will do as you wish, my lord. It might take some time, though. I'll need to gather some followers and...
Dragon's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh my god, we just want your testimony. Just tell us what you saw when Miss Steelwind was at the westward balcony yesterday. Oh, I see. If that's what you truly wish, my lord. Or are we just going to ignore how he was ready to commit mass murder? Be quiet. We just got him to calm down. Whew.
Give me a sec to yawn and be tired. Okay.
I was doing some paperwork in my quarters, and I suppose I lost track of time. My alarm went off, and I realized it was time for my afternoon prayers. I began heading to the prayer room when I spotted Lady Steelwind looking over the westward balcony. I tried to greet her, but she didn't respond to me. That's when I noticed she was pushing something large over the balcony and into Lake Galagrond. I asked her what she was doing, but again she ignored me and went to the prayer room. I thought nothing of it and made my way there as well. That's when the guards there turned me away. I went back to my quarters to do my prayers there. Considering the timing of it all, this must have happened minutes before she began attacking the prayer room. Yes, I consider myself lucky. The Scaled Lord must have graced me with divine luck. Please, just stop.
Considering how quickly she was moving, there has to be a reason why she waited there. Was she waiting for the High Speaker to leave? Perhaps you should closely examine the timing of these events.
Why am I so tired?
Oh my god, why is my eye so itchy? Hold on. Oh boy. Ugh. My eyes were watering, so I rubbed them, and then I think I might have gotten something in my eye. Ah! Oh, my eye's watering so bad. Okay. Oh my god. Dying on stream. Okay. I actually don't know what to do here, so we're just gonna do a bunch of pressing.
An alarm? I can't see. It's a rudimentary artificery device. I use it to remind me to conduct daily prayers. I see, and you have it set to go off at a specific time? Yes, it's set to go off at 5:10, 5 minutes before my afternoon prayers.
Objection!
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, if it's supposed to go off at... if you're supposed to pray at... She was dead by 2:18. So the timing of that isn't right, but I don't know exactly... let's go on to something else.
What was her expression like? It was very cold and motionless. The patron must have had control of her when this happened. Yes, that certainly makes the most sense. Right. What time did this happen? It was shortly after my alarm went off. It would definitely be before 2:15 p.m.
Okay. Maybe we also press this one.
The patron was probably trying to keep her on track, but I'm surprised she didn't attack you. Even if the patron was trying to frame her, she hadn't killed Pierce yet. Yes, I'm a little confused about that myself. But perhaps I should just be happy I came out of that encounter unharmed. Anyways, how long did you talk to her? Our encounter was very brief since she was ignoring me. Couldn't have lasted for more than 2 minutes.
Maybe now we can do it, now that we have a time. Nah, you're fine, Nate. I will read this in a second.
Objection!
Once don't need to pay attention to this particular cross-examination.
Wait, what? Is something wrong? There is, but I'm not really sure what it means. Stop stammering and say what you want to say.
Song moment.
Hi, speaker, you say you saw Arya dumping something over the ledge of the balcony. There's no need to be vague, Cuthbert. It's clear from the evidence that he saw my daughter dumping Lady Sybil's body. That's the thing, Lord Steelwind. It couldn't have been Sybil's body. What are you talking about? The location from that balcony to where we found Lady Sybil's body lines up perfectly. That may be, but the witness just said he saw Arya dumping the body before 12:15 p.m. Wait. You see it too, don't you, Lucio? How did Arya dump Coraline Sybil's body into Lake Galacron before 2:15 p.m. if her time of death was 2:18 p.m.?
He's even funnily detailed in the pullout for some reason.
Yawning? I see, that does seem peculiar. But we know the defendant threw Sybil's body from that balcony. There would be no other explanation for how it ended up there. Yes, that's also true. Perhaps she was still alive when Arya threw her off the balcony. She could have been knocked unconscious with a sleep spell. Your Grace, there were no traces of conjuration magic on her body, and even if she was asleep, she wouldn't have survived a fall from that height. The distance from the balcony to the lake is more than 30 stories, and the autopsy report says the cause of death was suffocation, not blunt force.
Right. So when did she die? She had to die after she hit the water.
She must have died after she hit the water. But, Mr. Cuthbert, Lucio just said that she would have died upon impact. But that's also assuming she didn't do anything to lessen the blow. She might have had opportunity to cast a spell to protect herself. That might explain why her body isn't as damaged despite falling from such a great height.
Objection!
Again, that doesn't match with the evidence. Lady Sybil's spell compendium contains the spell Slow Fall. If she had the opportunity to cast a spell, she would have used that spell to slow her descent. She wouldn't have taken any damage from hitting the lake if she'd done that. That's a really good point. But just indulge me for a second.
What spell did Sybil cast on herself? It would have been really funny if she turned herself into a frog. Let's be real. I think it's this, because if it can't be the falling one... Well, which ones does she have, actually? It might be stone skin if it can't be slow fall. I wish she turned herself into a frog.
She must have cast stone skin on herself. Stone skin. If you recall, the High Speaker mentioned that something was strange about the object Arya threw over the balcony. It was much darker and didn't match with Sybil's usual garb, almost as if there were something else that Sybil was wearing. That object was actually Leda Sybil, protected by a layer of stone. But that still doesn't explain why she would cast that instead of Slowfall.
He's right. Why did Sybil cast stone skin on herself? Maybe Arya... Sybil did it before the murders? Oh wait, it would make sense if it's before being thrown into the lake. LOL.
She cast stone skin on herself before she was thrown into the lake. Arya must have attacked her, and she cast that spell in response. That would protect her from the Steel Wind Strike. But that doesn't seem quite right. What do you mean? I may not have seen much, but I saw that the object Arya dumped was stiff and motionless. If it had been Lady Sybil, she would have been struggling against her, wouldn't she? That's a good point, too. The High Speaker saw Arya dumping a motionless Sybil, but if we assume my logic is correct, she would have also still been alive.
Why was Sybil motionless despite being conscious?
So why wasn't she struggling against Arya?
Was she knocked out by a spell? Okay. Good enough. She must have been affected by a spell, and considering it kept her from resisting Arya, the patron must have made Arya cast that spell on her. Which spell did Arya cast on Sybil? Hold creature?
It was Hold Creature. Sybil must have cast stone skin on herself when Arya attacked her. The patron must have known that Arya couldn't physically damage her like that, so they ordered her to restrain Sybil with that spell. And Sybil died by suffocation. That's right, Lucio. How did Sybil suffocate? Even if she was restrained, Sybil was still protected by stone skin. That would have left only one option for the patron. Sybil suffocated when Arya threw her into Lake Galakrond.
Could we not figure out that she drowned? I guess maybe since they found her body in the lake and if she was like her lungs were filled with water, they wouldn't actually know.
Her stone skin lessened the impact of her fall, but it also made her drop like a literal rock. Arya's Hold Creature spell prevented her from moving or releasing her spell. She was helpless as she sank to the bottom of the lake. I believe that covers all three of the murders, then. Yes. Lord Hog Sanctus suffocated to death in his own force cage. Lady Sybil drowned after Arya cast Hold Creature on her. And Lord Pierce died after being wounded by a blade created with shaped liquid. The only common thread I see is that the patron used some of the victims' magics against them.
But how does that connect to Pierce? Did he cast shaped liquid to make a blade to defend himself? Maybe the murderer took it from him and used it against him? No, but he was knocked unconscious alongside you. He couldn't have been the one to create the blade.
Anyways, whoever did this had an in-depth knowledge of each spell they used to defend themselves. They knew that Von Sanctus couldn't dispel his own force cage, and they also knew that he still needed oxygen from within it. And in Sybil's case, they knew Arya couldn't physically harm her once she had Stone Skin active. They also knew that Hold Creature would prevent Sybil from dispelling her own Stone Skin. Not only that, they did all this in a quick time frame. Von Sanctus and Sybil died within 13 minutes of each other, and if Arya hadn't encountered Celeste, Pierce might have died just as quickly. So whoever did this had an in-depth knowledge of high-level magic. Not only that, they came up with creative ways to bypass the defenses put up by Von Sanctus and Sybil. Yes, they had the ability to react quickly and decisively. But considering the circumstances, that hardly narrows it down. Several members of the Four Pillars family were present that day. Each and every one of them studied at the Imperial Academy. They would all be knowledgeable in magic and its applications.
Something they're saying isn't sitting right by you for some reason. There's something there, so why can't you see it? Ugh, it's no use, you just can't piece it together yet. But you're not finished yet.
There's another angle to this. Consider who the patron did and didn't target. What was similar about some of the targets? The victims were Lord Von Sanctus, Coraline Sybil, and Garrick Pierce. What's a similarity that we can draw between at least two of them?
Pierce and Von Sanctus are convicted noble. Okay. Fine.
Von Sanctus and Sybil were the heads of their respective noble houses.
I guess they... But aren't they both... Well, I guess, you know what? Von Sanctus might not be convicted yet. He might not be convicted yet. Fine, I'll let it slide.
Are you saying the patron's goal was to assassinate the leaders of the Four Pillars?
Reading.
I have some motive that makes the most sense. But that does leave one question. Don't be coy. I'm not daft, Cuthbert. Actually, I highly doubt it was you. Really now. Out of most of the people there, you could have easily tricked your daughter into signing a blood contract, but why would you need to do that? You're the Grand General of Wyvern Guard's military, and the cathedral was filled with your men. You could have easily equipped one of your best mages to carry out this massacre, and you wouldn't even need to make a deal with the demon to do so. So why wasn't Lucio targeted then? From her encounter with Celeste, it's clear there's a limit to Arya's combat abilities.
I cannot read.
The patron might have simply doubted Arya's ability to defeat the Grand General. But there's also another explanation. Why didn't the patron target Lucio Steelwind?
Want to frame this House Steelwind.
The patron wanted people to suspect House Steelwind for the murders. They used Lucio Steelwind's daughter to commit the crime, and they intentionally left him alive to cast suspicion on him. That's why they used my daughter.
Is that a tinge of anger you feel from him?
Anyways, that leads me to my next point. Imagine if we never discovered Arya's blood contract with the Empress of Discord.
Insert song here.
What would have happened next? We'd still think that Miss Steelwind succumbed to mage blight. She would have been convicted for the murders, and trust in House Steelwind would be forever diminished. About a month ago, House Freyga lost its head, and his successor, Leafy Freyga, was woefully unprepared to take his place. Now the heads of Von Sanctus and House Sybil are dead, with House Steelwind being held responsible for all of it. All 4 of the Pillar families would have been weakened as a result of the massacre. But I think there's another layer to this. Everything fits together if we assume that the patron's goal was to weaken the Filler families, except for the murder of Garrick Pierce. Yes, in contrast to Sybil and Von Sanctus, Pierce's political power pales in comparison. Furthermore, Pierce was already scheduled to be executed next month for the murder of Flintheart McCoy. Why did the patron target Garrick Pierce? Why would the patron condemn it? Blah blah blah.
No. Fuck. No, I misclicked.
The patron murdered Pierce because they needed him to die as quickly as possible. Pierce knew the identity of Celeste's biological parents.
My parents?
Girl, I hope we find out tonight because I need to know.
Do you remember what Pierce said when we showed up for the meeting?
Letter.
We weren't the intended recipients of that letter.
That's right!
So, that leaves one last question. Who did Pierce originally send that letter to?
The patron. Man. Music in that movie is so fucking good. And for what?
There's only one person Pierce could have sent that letter to. The person who orchestrated the massacre in the first place. The patron. But that means the patron is someone who would have been threatened by Celeste's parentage.
Baby boy, please don't be evil.
Order in the court.
But I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I know this is a lot to take in, but I think they were targeting you for some reason. Pierce knew the identity of Celeste's parents and attempted to blackmail the patron with this. Instead of complying with Pierce's demand, the patron instead sent the letter to me. But why go to the trouble of luring you there? They could have just allowed Pierce to wait in the prayer room while the defendant made her way to murder him.
He's actually chromatic drag. That'd be very funny. Hannah, we're both just like holding hands right now, like, please don't be evil!
Looking back at it, it's possible they wanted to kill Celeste too.
What?
They knew I wouldn't meet with Pierce alone, and the information he had was about her. The patron correctly guessed that I'd bring her with me. By killing both Pierce and Celeste, they eliminate any threat Celeste would pose to them. But who would be threatened by such information? The mere existence of McCoy posed a threat to them. It must have something to do with her birthright. Right. So, who would that leave?
Ooh! 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 Should we go for it? Let's go for it. Let's see what they say.
King de Wyverngard just recently died. What if Celeste was a member of the royal family?
You think I'm a princess?
I don't want to suspect Aster, but we need to consider every possibility.
I hope they kill us for this. We get murdered for treason.
And when it comes to conflicts of inheritance, a royal line of succession is the first thing that comes to mind. Not only that, the king would have the authority to pardon Pierce for his crimes, but that wouldn't entirely make sense.
It better not. Listen, I do love a character who's a little bit evil. I love someone who's a little bit terrible. But my boy?
What do you mean? If McCoy was abandoned at a tavern in Cornhaven, we must assume she's a bastard child.
Okay. I don't know why you have to bring that up.
My point is that King Olivier wouldn't abandon a child of pure royal blood. The kingdom requires heirs to continue the royal bloodline. He would have leveraged her in a diplomatic marriage. That's disgusting. That's diplomacy, Cuthbert.
Gross!
Anyway, even if McCoy was of royal blood, Aster is the king's eldest child, and he's of pure royal blood. McCoy would have no claim to the throne under these circumstances.
Which means he can just be our little guy. He can just be our boy.
Right, I see what you mean. I suppose that eliminates Aster for now.
For forever. That's my boy. He can do no wrong.
Anyways, we should consider the other suspects first, so who would that leave? I recall during...
I've also been like, could it have been like the 7-year-old? Could it? I don't know.
I recall that during Beatrice Frega's trial, we heard William Frega's last will and testament. It mentioned that House Frega's assets would be divided evenly between all of his children. If McCoy were revealed to be as a Frega, his daughters would be legally obligated to share the estate with her.
Could I seriously be a Frega? I mean, 2 of them have blue hair. I have white hair.
I don't want to suspect Leafy or Miriam, but we need to consider every possibility. And as we've seen, the Fregas are no strangers to making deals with demons. But it still doesn't quite fit. I doubt Leafy or Miriam would do something like this. What are you basing that on? I tend to be a good judge of character, and they just don't seem like the type to do something like that. But you're far too trusting. I hold no doubt that any of William's children would be capable of something like this. I suppose we'll have to see. Anyways, we should consider the other suspects first. So who does that leave? As much as I have my doubts, House Steelwind is the only Pillar family whose house leader survived the past month.
We did have that weird conversation, and then we were like, oh, are they sisters? We gotta stop making jokes immediately, don't we?
You think I'm McCoy's biological father?
Ugh. You're barely a father to your actual daughter?
I'm only stating that possibility for the sake of argument. That's just the sake of argument. Please don't kill me. As I've said, it wouldn't make sense for you to frame your own daughter when House Steelwind would be blamed. But we need to consider every possibility. Anyways, we should consider the other suspects first, so... What if the Eye Taker orchestrated this whole thing? The Eye Taker? That common criminal. I lost his voice. What reason would he have to do this? I've heard firsthand that he was planning to expand his influence throughout Wyverngard. He was actually plotting with Beatrice to use House Frega to do so. Since I ruined his original plan, setting up that massacre might have been his backup plan. Perhaps we're looking at this all wrong. What if Celeste was part of the royal family and they were planning to use her to take the throne? Ah! But if he wanted to do so, why would he put McCoy in danger by having my daughter attack her? Not only that, he also had the perfect opportunity to murder His Majesty. Imagine if he had placed a more lethal contingent spell in that glyph of contingency. His Majesty might have very well died alongside Von Sanctus, Sybil, and Pierce. Yeah, I suppose you're right, but we need to consider every possibility. Ugh, but I can't think of anyone else. Yes, there's a flaw with each suspect. Your logic is clearly flawed.
Well, you don't see him coming up with any ideas.
There's something here I'm not seeing, but I know I'm close. There's a missing piece that ties all this together. Regardless, we still have no idea who this Empress of Discord is.
Howling at the moon. I know.
I'm loath to allow such an individual to walk freely through Wyverngard. Your Grace, you have been alive since the creation of Wyverngard and magic. Do you know who this demon is? I can't say I do. Demons tend to take many titles over their lifetimes, but whoever this Empress is, they are brave to so blatantly encroach on my domain like this. Well, I suppose we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. We've obtained a lot of information today, but we clearly have many questions that need to be answered. How should we proceed? What is it, Mr. Cuthbert? I can't help but feel that there's something here I'm not seeing. I can't put my finger on it. We have been working at this for quite some while. Perhaps we should suspend proceedings so that we can look into these new leads. I have no objections. It would give my men some time to look into what we've discovered today.
Did we say something and I accidentally double-clicked? No.
Then it's settled. We'll be postponing proceedings for now, but you'll all be expected to return here by tomorrow morning. You're all free to return to your homes for the time being.
Framing the actual heir to take out the bastard heir would be a terrible plan, it's true.
But make no mistake, the King's Guard will be keeping careful watch over all of you.
There's still this constant nagging sensation in the back of your mind.
Hey, Tyrion? You implied that I was royalty twice in there. Do you think that's legit? And if you do I have to do that as a job? Because, I kill people for a living. Do you think that's going to be an issue? I've killed Tyrion, I've killed a lot of people. I don't know if this is a good idea to follow.
It's as if you've forgotten something extremely important.
Tyrion? What is it?
What could be so important yet so difficult to remember?
Tyrion!
Sorry. I was just thinking about everything.
You're looking really stressed out. Do you want to head back to your house to rest?
No, we only have a day until the trial resumes. If we can't figure out what happened after tomorrow, the magical traces will dissipate.
But you already know what happened. You just don't know who did it.
Yeah, but we should speak with the suspects again. Maybe if I get lucky, I'll see something through the Eye of Horus.
But one of the suspects is the Eye Taker. What are you going to do about him?
I suppose I'll have to speak with him too.
What? No! What if he tries to kill you again?
Or his life is on the line. That's just a risk I'll have to take.
Tyrion? Do you even understand what you've been pulled into?
What?
Someone just murdered a bunch of nobles, and they even attacked members of the royal family. Now there are ancient dragons and demon lords involved too. Isn't this above your pay grade?
Ouch.
You know that's not what I meant. It's just, this whole thing is crazy, isn't it?
It's fine. It's just like any other of our investigations.
It's not, though. What if the Empress of Discord attacks you? What if the patron decides you're getting too close to the truth?
What if I can't... Her voice begins to break.
Celeste? Are you still worried about what happened during the massacre? I'm fine. I already told you that you didn't do anything wrong.
You almost died, Tyrion.
I know.
Tyrion? You almost died.
I know, Celeste.
No, Tyrion, I don't think you do. Do you have any idea how worried I was when she broke past me? When I saw you all lying on the floor, so many things were going through my mind. I don't know what I would have done if you were...
She can't even complete that sentence.
Celeste,
You were so focused on everything else that you've been ignoring her. Fucking smooth moves, Tyrion Cuthbert. She was attacked by Arya and almost died. You never even thought about how traumatic that must have been for her.
I'm sorry. I didn't think...
Don't apologize. Just please. Please just leave this to Lucio and the Scaled Lord. You've done enough already. They can figure the rest of it out.
And what if that's not enough? I'm not so arrogant that I think they can't do without me, but what if they can't figure out who the patron is? Arya will spend the rest of her life in prison. What if I could have done something to prevent that?
I don't care if that happens.
Celeste!
I don't care, Tyrion! I'll apologize to her all you want after this. But all I want is to keep you safe. And I don't know if I'm able to do that anymore.
Even she seems surprised by what she said.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to...
I'm really happy you're part of my life.
What?
I know that what you're saying is coming from a place of care, and I'm really sorry about how much I've been worrying you lately, but
You're not going to stop, are you?
it's like I've always said.
Man, king, or god. Nothing will stop you from getting justice for your clients. I'm going to talk to Lucio.
What?
If we're going to meet the Eye Taker again, we're bringing some knights with us.
Celeste, that's hardly...
Nope! You don't get a say in this. And if you're not here when I get back, I will find you.
Judging from her expression, it's not an empty threat.
Fine, just go.
Bye! She might have a point, though. Before everything happened, you weren't even sure if you wanted to continue being an attorney. Maybe you should consider a safer, quieter life after this is all done. Perhaps the life with her. Wait, what?
All right, Lucio's cleared it. It was surprisingly easy to convince him.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Let's not waste any more time.
Before she has a chance to respond, you hastily walk past her. He's power walking in the other direction.
Hey, don't walk so far ahead.
You need to stay focused on the trial for Arya's sake. But when this is all over, you'll... well, you suppose you don't have to think about it until then. Speed walking off scene. He's going as fast as he can. Oh! Have we seen this angle before? We might have. Using the Kingsguard teleportation network, you arrive back in Rathholm. Due to Celeste's insistence, you're being escorted by a division of the Kingsguard. They definitely make you look out of place. As you walk through the city, you draw strange looks from nearly everyone who sees you.
Sir, where will we be heading first?
It's a little strange giving orders to knights. It's definitely going to take some getting used to.
What's wrong?
There's definitely something I'm fundamentally missing, but what?
Just don't push yourself too hard, okay?
Yeah, I'll try to pace myself.
Can they, like, stop and get lunch? Is there, like, street food? Street food is, like, ubiquitous throughout history. Like, we gotta get this man, like, some, like, street meat or something. Like, can we get this man a sandwich? Can someone, like, do they have magic smoothies? Like, has he eaten today? He just did, like, hours in court. Can we please get, like, a falafel? Like, yeah, can we get him some poutine? Maybe, like, some, yeah, meatball sub. One of those, like, you know how in Japan they have those, like, right alongside, like, some trains, they have, like a place where you can get, like, the fastest instant ramen ever just between trains? Like, I'm like, can we get him something? Some noodles, some dumplings, a salad, at least a water bottle.
Anyways, we should speak with each of the suspects and confirm their alibis. That might help me finally put some things together. Each of the nobles has returned to their respective homes, but our teleportation network should help you travel around Wyverngard.
All right. You arrive back at the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord. You probably won't need to investigate this crime scene again, but you wonder if Aster or Lucio might be here. Please?
Sir, I've spoken with the groundskeeper. His Majesty and the Grand General are currently visiting Lady Steelwind, but supposedly they'll be here later today to talk to the High Speaker. Alright, I'll suppose we'll just have to come back later.
I miss you, Aster. Your presence is missed. You arrive at Fragum Manor, hoping to speak with Leify and Miriam. After some asking around, one of the servants mentions that they appear to be entertaining guests in the study. You normally wouldn't interrupt them, but you've already eaten up a lot of time traveling here. Whatever they're discussing can wait.
Ruff, ruff, ruff.
Ah! As you enter the study, Tracker runs up to you and begins barking. But once he sees who you are, he calms down.
Oh, hello, friends. Sorry for the borks. Tracker thought he'd smell something bad.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert! You scan the room and see that Miriam is there too. And they appear to be talking with Lord Asclepius. Asclepius.
Sorry for barging in, Leify.
No, it's no problem at all. Her emotion implies that she already knows why you're here.
I'll skip the pleasantries, I guess. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about what happened?
Of course. I'll do anything to help with Lady Steelwind's situation.
Oh, fuck. This guy had a voice. Should I leave?
No, you were with me when everything happened. And your testimony will substantiate my alibi.
Ooh, someone's pissed. This guy looks like a Pokemon character. Not even a Pokemon character. This looks like, I forget what they're called. When people make human versions of Pokemon, this looks like someone's human version of a Pokemon. You know? Like, I feel like you could also do the reverse. Like, you could design a Pokemon based on this character. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense to everyone. I don't actually do much Pokemon, so I'm just kind of bullshitting. I'm just making shit up.
Leify, I'm sure you know why I'm here, but I just want to preface this by saying that I highly doubt you were behind this.
No, I perfectly understand. Frankly, I'm also at a loss. I have no idea who did this.
What are you talking about? It was clearly that criminal, the eye taker.
So true, Sarah. Why don't you go interrogate him?
Make no mistake, we fully intend to, but I'd like to cover everyone else before I confront him.
Let him be, Miriam.
But it's his fault that Beatrice is...
Our sister knew what she was doing when she gave her testimony. Don't insult her bravery by blaming Mr. Cuthbert for what happened.
They're like, she did murder our father, but kind of a slay. Literally. Did she sell her soul to a demon? Yes. Did she murder our father? Also yes. Is it a slay in two senses of the word? Yes.
What?
Anyways, Mr. Cuthbert has shown many times that he's acting in good faith. And he's capable of convicting criminals that even we can't see.
You mentioned Beatrice before. Did something happen?
It happened right after she gave her testimony this morning. She fell unconscious.
Oh, they're talking about this testimony.
She fell unconscious shortly after she left the Scared Lord's lair. She hasn't woken up since then, and Marinath has gone missing.
What? It must have been the Empress of Discord.
Howling at the moon.
After you mentioned Lady Steelwind's blood contract, we all realized why she was acting so strangely. Right, if it weren't for her, I would have never considered trying to issue a divine edict.
She sacrificed herself to save Lady Steelwind.
It seems our esteemed sister put her trust in you, commoner.
So, we will do the same. If there's anything we can do to help you, please ask.
I appreciate your trust, all of you, but I have to ask, where were you all between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. that day?
Luckily, we were all together.
Me, Leify, Miriam, Beatrice, and her friend were all gathered in the garden before 2 p.m.
But around 2 p.m., my sister and Ms. Ilmatter both went missing.
I can't believe we trusted her to take care of our sister.
Hush now, Miriam. If the Empress of Discord took control of her, there was hardly anything Ms. Ilmatter could do to stop it.
As the Empress of Discord.
I really do hope she's okay. She's been missing since the massacre.
You mentioned that you all went to search for her. Did you see anything?
No. We were originally planning to search the... Fuck.
My fault for playing with the keyboard. I have a bone folder and I'm playing with it between the keys, and that's on me.
No, we were originally planning to search the cathedral grounds, but when we arrived at the nave, we found Asta trapped in a force cage.
Did any of you lose track of each other during that time? No, we stayed together for the entire time. But we did consider splitting up to cover more ground.
But the King's Guard found us and asked us to stay where we were.
Right, I suppose that makes sense. Did you see Eris at all when this happened?
No, we never saw her.
She went missing at the same time that Beatrice did. That's really suspicious.
You don't think?
It's definitely possible she was involved in this somehow. Not to mention the Eye Taker is one of our suspects, and she's his daughter.
She's his what?
You didn't know? I'd have thought that Beatrice would have told you.
No, she didn't mention that at all.
Looks like Eris has a lot to answer for. Yeah, a fucking lot. If you can even find her, that is.
I suppose I'll stop beating around the bush. Have any of you made a blood contract with a demon lately?
How dare you! This arrogant little peasant!
No, I understand where he's coming from.
I want to understand, but the very idea is infuriating.
Of everyone present, our sister was the only person with known ties to a demon. If she were to share that secret with anyone, it would have been us.
You didn't catch any incriminating thoughts from them through the eye, but you've been misled by it before.
Nevertheless, we still have no idea who the patron is. I was actually meaning to ask you during the trial. Can't you just use this divine edict of yours to figure out who the patron is? No, to manifest a blood contract, I need the title of the demon and the name of the human they made the contract with. I understand that, but why not just brute force it? What? Due to the king's funeral, the King's Guard has a detailed list of everyone who was present during the massacre.
This is how I solve puzzles.
Whoever this patron is, they were working together with the Empress of Discord. That must mean they made a blood contract with her, yes? That's right. I could just keep issuing divine edicts until the blood contract appears.
Wait! Is that safe?
There's only one way to find out.
You take out your notes and begin looking at your list of suspects. You might be at this for a while, so you might as well go at it in alphabetical order. Literally, he's like, what the fuck are you all doing? You clear your throat in preparation.
Empress of Discord, wherever you may hide, release thine guards and manifest your blood contract with Aster de Wyvengard. Ah!
Tyrion, what's wrong? You collapse to the ground as you suddenly find yourself overcome with immense pain. What? What's happening to him? Lazarick, use your magic to heal him.
Right.
Okay, well, so Aster's fine. Good news, everybody. Good news, guys. Everybody, this is great news. Our boy has not made a contract with the demon. Aster is clear of demon contracts in regards with the Empress of Discord. He's all clear.
Oh, you silly, silly boy. You may be half human, but you can't just go around declaring lies like that.
What?
And I was really looking forward to bringing you to the end of this. I haven't even started to have my fun yet.
I'm just assuming this is Eris.
Who are you?
Actually, I suppose that contract is still in effect. I guess my hands are tied. I'll save you. Just this once.
Oh! Rian? Tyrion? Please wake up! Okay, if we think that that is Eris, do we think maybe Tamora made a deal with Eris to protect Tyrion? He got his brain slurped out, yeah. I think it's possible. We don't know we have no idea where Tamora is. We haven't seen her since last case.
Celeste?
You're okay. You most certainly do not feel okay. You can feel every part of your body aching. It's painful for you to even sit up like this. Are you okay, friend?
Yeah. What happened? You died.
Oh, cool! Fuck yeah, we're a zombie.
What? I've never brought anyone back from something like that. That was my strongest spell, too. You have no idea how lucky you are. If I wasn't here, who knows what might have happened? I don't understand. The last thing I remember was issuing my divine edict. Wait.
Was that the cause?
But I've done it before without any problems. I just used it this morning.
Why did the divine edict harm you? Oh, a contract, not... I put a deal, but they meant a blood contract. LOL.
It might be because Aster doesn't have a blood contract with the Empress. If demons are unable to lie, that same might hold true for angels as well. The divine edict must be some sort of divine power, so asking for a blood contract that doesn't exist might be considered a lie. Sorry, it's my fault for suggesting it. No, I was being reckless.
Please be more careful. I don't think my heart can take this.
Well, at least we know Aster didn't do this.
Woo! Free my boy!
That was the most obvious one! Either way, you should still make note of this.
I almost wonder if he has a blood contract with someone else because they specifically cleared her. Cleared him, but for now, I will celebrate that he's not evil yet. We will throw a party for the partial evil being cleared. For now, he's good. For now, he's fine. We can just keep hoping that he's normal-ish.
Anyways, it's clear that I can't just brute force this. I'll just have to wait until I'm certain of the patron's identity.
Just please be careful.
Anyways, it looks like you found everything you can here. Perhaps you should move somewhere else, quickly. You arrive back at the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord. Hopefully, Aster and Lucio are back by now.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert.
You don't have a blood contract with the Empress of Discord. Woo! Yeah. Sometimes you have to, really, sometimes you just have to really attach yourself to one guy. You have to attach to yourself. Yeah, you just have to. I think we attached to him because the first time he met Tyrion, he was like, oh my god, I love your work. And we were just like, this is a guy I can get behind. Oh, possibly evil child. As you enter, you're approached by Aster, Alaric, and Lucio.
How's your investigation? Are you okay? You look quite pale. You look awful. Have you had a sandwich today? Yeah, there was a bit of an accident earlier.
You're a little too embarrassed to admit you almost ended up dying?
Well, they try to exude more caution next time. It'd be dishonorable if you didn't fall by my hand.
He does look fuzzy in this one, and I don't know what it is.
Why is everything you say so aggressive?
Anyways, you finally have your next suspect here, but judging from the evidence you gathered, it's very unlikely that Aster is the patron.
You do wonder if he saw something, though.
Why are you looking at me like that, Cuthbert? Oh, sorry.
After he attacked you in Frigate Manor, you've always been a little wary of him. If it weren't for Celeste's reflexes, he might have very well killed you that day.
I'm not going to attack you again. I hope you can understand my uneasiness. You did almost kill me the first time we met.
What?
That's not... It's because you're a Heavensborn. Wait. What does me being a Heavensborn have to do with this? It's difficult to explain to someone like you, but warriors such as I must hone and develop our senses to survive in battle. Eventually, we develop the ability to sense hidden enemies and anticipate danger. I'd heard that such senses are heightened when in the presence of an extraplanar entities.
Fuck me, my reading has gone to shit.
Until I met you and Beatrice Frega's familiar, I thought those stories were complete nonsense. Me and Marinath? As a Heavensborn, your blood is said to originate from the heavens. I wouldn't go so far as to say I believe in the existence of other planes, but I admit that I still feel a certain aura from you that doesn't feel quite human. So that's why you attacked me? I was exuding a threatening aura? It was actually the opposite. Your aura was too calm and benign.
Your vibes were too chill, I had to kill you. The vibes were great, and that meant execution. We can't be having these good, chill, calming vibes. It has to be a little chaotic.
I thought it must be some kind of trick or illusion. I see, that's quite an astounding ability. What about you, McCoy?
What?
Did you not sense a similar aura when you first met him? Is that true?
Well...
Okay, she did call him cute.
Yeah, totally. Wasn't distracted or anything. Was kind of similar. She's like, fuck, I just thought he was really cute. Like, is that what that was? I just thought I was really into him. This is embarrassing for all of us.
For some reason, you feel a little embarrassed.
Aster, I'm sure you know why I'm here.
It's because I'm one of your suspects, isn't it? I'm obsessed with him. He's so funny.
Your Majesty, you're the reigning king of Wyverngard. I expect you to conduct yourself with a little more dignity.
Shut the fuck up. Do not rain on my boy's parade.
Of course. My apologies, Lord Steelwind. Anyways, questioning you is honestly a formality at this point. Really? A lot of the evidence works in your favor?
He doesn't have a blood contract with the Empress after all.
Well, I appreciate your vote of confidence nonetheless.
He was so hyped to be a suspect of murder. Like,
Lucio, have you made any headway in figuring out who set that trap for Aster? No, I haven't. It makes me uneasy that you let someone get that close to my father's body. Yes, I can't begin to apologize for my men's incompetence. If they were more vigilant, perhaps we could have avoided this whole tragedy entirely. So your men were guarding the late king's coffin? Yes, there wasn't a single moment when his body was left unguarded. We found traces of illusion magic at the location of the force cage, although we're still not sure about who could have set the trap. There are also members of the King's Guard that can cast both force cage and glyph of contingency, and many of them fell comatose during the massacre, so we don't even know if one of them betrayed us. Do you think my men are that weak, Your Majesty? I think anyone can be made weak when put through enough stress. Regardless, we have no way of telling who may have been guarding the coffin when the trap was set. This means we have no way of telling when the glyph of contingency was set. I was actually meaning to ask you about that. Couldn't we wait the 48 hours to elapse? If we make note of the exact time the traces of evocation disappear, we can work backward to determine the exact time the trap was set. Well, normally we could. When the spell activated, I unfortunately panicked and caused a firebolt trying to destroy it. Of course, it didn't even put a dent in the force cage. Because of that, she left traces of evocation at the exact location of the glyph of contingency. We can't discern which traces were left by the patron's glyph of contingency or His Majesty's firebolt. I'm terribly sorry about that.
here's the thing. I want to believe him, but that also could be a point against him. You know? To disguise the timing. You can't blame him for reacting like that, but it's going to make figuring out who did this that much more difficult. I still believe in you, Aster.
I heard you two visited Arya earlier today, and also you have a little brother standing here too who hasn't said anything the whole time. How is she doing? I think she's doing the best she can, all things considered. No thanks to you. What? She's only in this situation because of you. Lucio, that's not me. You're the one who's heartlessly prosecuting her. She's far too weak for this. If that's what you truly think of her, you're grossly misunderstanding the kind of person that she is. She defied the role you tried to force onto her, and she instead dedicated herself to fixing our broken kingdom. Ever since this started, all you've done is insult her. But you know nothing about her. She's far stronger than you realize.
This is so funny. Tyrion and Aster are like, hey, that's our fucking friend. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Despite her lineage, she always carved her own path and pursued her own justice. Her own path. She only became a prosecutor because of His Majesty. What are you talking about? She became a prosecutor to fix our corrupt justice system from the inside. And who do you think put those ideas into her mind? If she wanted to fix our justice system, she could have easily done so by slowly weakening House Sybil's influence. But she knew about your strange idolization of Ruby Tamora, and she knew how closely you followed each and every one of her cases. I know why she became a prosecutor. She thought that if she became like your idol and defeated her, you might finally notice her.
I like to believe that Arya became a lawyer because she did actually want to fix it and it had very little to do with the boy. So fuck you, Lucio.
You're wrong, Lucio. Arya Steelwind would never care about me that much. Are you seriously that dense? When you were still engaged to Lady Frega, you flaunted your relationship in front of my daughter with no regard to her feelings.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I refuse to believe that because, well, like, here's the thing. It doesn't matter because Arya is 18 now, and I believe Beatrice left 5 years ago, meaning that this flaunting of her relationship with no regards to her feelings would have been when she was 13. She's 18 right now. She would have been 13. And Aster would have been 21. Like, if she had a crush, she had a crush. I get that happens. There was no flaunting. There was no, like, flaunting to, like, make her jealous and disregarding her feelings because she was a child. Okay? She was a middle schooler. So, like, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. Like, I can totally I can't understand, but I've seen enough, like, media where, like, the kid sibling has a crush on, like, their older sibling's best friend or whatever, you know? It happened in H2O. Mostly it just happened in H2O. But, like, I can understand, like, the concept of, like, having a crush when you're, like, on someone who's older than you and being jealous, but, like, hello? Lucio, head out of your ass. This is not Aster's fault.
I remember each and every time I heard her silently cry in her quarters because of how oblivious you are. She's changed every part of herself in order to please you.
I just don't think that's true. Is he getting angry on her behalf? I refuse to believe this is true. Mostly because I think if it's true, it's silly, silly writing. Because I don't want Arya's entire everything to be built up on wanting Aster to, like, love her. Because, like, that's too much for me. I'm sorry.
I had no idea. My daughter is far stronger than any of us, but she's weak when it comes to you. Lucio, there's no point in fighting amongst ourselves.
We need to, exactly, Sarah, on God, we need to get this girl a girlfriend. We need to get this girl a girlfriend. We gotta. Arya, we can save you. We can save you, girl. I promise.
Please stay focused on the investigation and not the fact that you think, like, somehow this is Aster's fault.
It seems that he cares for Arya a lot more than you realized, and the eye shows that his feelings are genuine, but then why is he doing everything he can to convict her? Me! The mood is a little tense.
I must ask you, Cuthbert, why are you going to such lengths for my daughter?
She's our fucking friend, that's why.
What do you mean?
And also, we like justice? That's really all the reason you need.
Surely you understand the gravity of the situation. By taking part in this trial, you risk drawing the ire of both the nobility and whoever this Empress of Discord is.
Well, the nobility already fucking hates us, so it doesn't matter.
What are you planning? Lucio, I'm not planning anything. Please, do you honestly expect me to believe that you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart?
I'm an angel? Sorry, did you forget that I'm an angel? I'm literally an angel, so yes? Yes.
Well, Scared Lord, you actually are doing it for that reason. Is this what all Heavenborns are like? I don't like thinking about it that way. I just can't stand by while I see injustice taking place. Even if you're standing in my way, I'll do whatever it takes to save Arya. I wouldn't throw around such promises so loosely. Why not? I will save her, Lucio.
Anyways, it appears you still have no idea who set that trap for Aster. Judging from the spell compendiums you have, neither Arya nor Beatrice could have set that trap. But the patron could also be a mage. That means that they could have set that trap too. Either way, it looks like you won't be getting any new information here. And you highly doubt that the person who orchestrated this is any of the people you've met this far. There's one last person you need to talk to. Sorry, Aster. Love you. You gotta go.
You make your way back to the alleyway, sorry I hit my mic, that Tamora brought you to a month ago.
Oh, right, we were depressed for a month. It would be too conspicuous to bring the Kingsguard with you. So they've hidden themselves in a building nearby. I love these big-ass sheets.
They gave Celeste an enchanted runestone to hold and channel her magic into. If she ever stops focusing her magic into it, the Kingsguard will be notified and they'll storm the building.
They pulled one of the that point in Twilight where the lamp is circling her. The camera's circling her, and she's like, it's like months pass, and in the book it's just like blank pages. That was us.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
The eye taker is your prime suspect. Everyone else has an alibi and lacks a motive.
Yeah, literally.
Not to mention, Eris was with Beatrice when she went missing. You don't want to suspect her, but her father is a criminal, and also, her name is Eris.
Like, okay. No. I will be so kind. They are not from our world. They're not from our world. They don't have Greek mythology. Her name is Eris.
She chose to go by the name Eris?
Like, come on. The lack of subtlety. Oh my god.
And she still hasn't turned up since the massacre.
All right, on three. 1,
2,
3. What?
There's no one here.
Damn it.
Of course he's not here. You betrayed him and you knew where his hideout was. You take a close look at the desk he was sitting at during your previous visit. There's a thick layer of dust on it. It doesn't look like anyone's been here in a while. He must have moved his operation elsewhere the day you convicted Beatrice.
I guess there's no point in staying hidden anymore.
You see Celeste toss the Kingsguard's runestone onto the ground. A few seconds later, she's like, fuck this thing! You hear the footfalls of soldiers rushing to your location.
Freeze in the name of Wyvern.
You see him freeze as he scans the room and sees no one else is there.
Be careful, sir. They appear to have turned themselves invisible. They're not here, you idiot. Oh.
You let out a frustrated sigh as you take a seat on a chair nearby. A cloud of dust is launched into the air as you do so.
He had the last piece we needed. None of the other suspects had the means nor motive to do this. But he's probably long gone now. It's over.
I'm sorry. But you did everything you could, didn't you?
But it wasn't good enough.
A part of you knew that it was a long shot. If he were involved in this, he'd definitely keep his head down.
What do we do now? There has to be someone who knows where he is.
Wait a minute.
Actually, there is one person who might know where he is.
What do you... Wait! You don't mean...
At this point, it's the only option we have.
You sure? You two aren't exactly... Is it Mom?
I know. But I can't let my personal feelings get in the way of saving Arya.
Are we gonna talk to our mom? You're not looking forward to seeing her again? At least that's what you keep telling yourself. You'll have to process these feelings later. You have a job to do. We have to go talk to Mom. Mom! You arrive at the office of Tamora's law firm. According to Arya, Tamora is still practicing. So, it looks like she hasn't gotten into hiding like the eye taker apparently did. If anyone knows where he currently is, she will. You bring your hand up to knock on the door, but you stop for a moment.
Sir?
After everything that happened, you still don't feel ready to face her? For the past month, all those things you said to her keep replaying in your mind. You feel the familiar warmth of Celeste's hand again. You take a deep breath and steel your resolve. You knock on the door. Every moment of silence thereafter fills you with anxiety and dread. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I'm not currently accepting clients at... Cuthbert? She looks completely frozen for a while, but her gaze narrows as she notices the legion of knights escorting you. Are you here to arrest me?
No, of course not. Can we come in?
Yes, of course. Mom! You take a seat inside the office, but you can't really think of anything to say. And the knights aren't really helping to alleviate the tension.
Hey, Celeste, could you take the knights outside to do a perimeter of the building?
What? But Are you sure?
I am.
But what if something happens?
Celeste, we're in a populated building in the capital city of Wyverngard. I think I'll be fine.
No, but... Sorry, you're right. I'll just...
With a motion of her hand, the knights follow her out of the office. Right before she leaves, she waits at the door and looks at you for a while. But after a while, she realizes how long she's been staring and quickly closes the door. Now then, let's get this over with. Oh, this is gonna be uncomfortable.
Is Celeste okay? She seems a bit on edge right now.
Yeah, I think she's just been overprotective lately. I don't really blame her. I did almost die a few times in the last few days.
What?
It's a long story, and I don't think I'm even allowed to talk about it. Especially not with you.
That last part came out with a little more disdain than you intended. You take a deep breath.
I received your letters.
Oh, did you?
I haven't gotten the chance to read them yet.
Of course, whenever you're not busy.
This is really awkward. But you were going to have this conversation sooner or later. Perhaps it would be best to just be direct.
Ms. Demora, I trusted you.
I know.
I trusted you. I told you everything about myself. I put all of my hopes in you, and you lied to me. You told the criminal about the Eye of Horus. It took me years before I was comfortable enough to even tell you about it, and you knew that. Why did you even adopt me? You could have just left me in Arnax and moved on with your life. Why would you pull me into this?
It sounds like she's trying to look for an answer, but nothing comes to her.
I've started thinking about what my life could have been like. I could have done so many things. I could have been able to move on from losing my mother. But you adopted me. You made my entire life focused around that one moment.
Oh boy.
I had a son once. Before you, I mean.
What?
I wasn't always a city person. I used to live in an old farm town, just like McCoy's. My son and I used to run an old tea shop, just the two of us.
Wait, you ran a tea shop?
I know, it's ridiculous now that I think about it. But I was really happy back then.
What happened?
One night, a local nobleman had too much to drink at the local tavern. He barged into our shop and started destroying it with magic. My son tried to stop him. The Inquisition swept that entire case under the rug, obviously. They said that the nobleman felt threatened and acted in self-defense.
She never told you about this before.
What was his name?
It was Ryan.
Oh.
Oh boy.
What did you do after Ryan died?
I thought long and hard about what I wanted to do. I was hurt and blinded by rage, so I decided I would take justice into my own hands.
Wait, you didn't...
No. At the time, I thought killing him would be too easy. I broke into his manor, found every incriminating document I could find. I found everything, from records of illegitimate children to plots he was making against other noble houses. I released everything to the public. It absolutely ruined him. That's when I realized that there was a way to make them pay. You didn't have to harm or kill anyone. You just have to beat them at their own game. You could use the rules and laws they made against them.
Just like an attorney.
Yeah. Just like an attorney. When I realized that, I moved to the city and started studying law. I read every book there was to read about wyvern guards of the laws, and I learned how to work the system. I started representing clients who were clearly being framed by the nobility, but I didn't really care about saving them. I just wanted to see the look on each noble's face when I implicated them with irrefutable evidence. But it got more difficult. As I started punching higher, the nobles got smarter and more influential. I continued to acquit my clients, but the trials got closer and closer each time. But I was arrogant, and I felt invincible. I thought that no matter what happened, justice would prevail. And then your mother's case happened. I've never met someone that remarkable before. She had this way of making you feel happy, no matter what kind of mood you were in.
Kinda gay.
Yeah, I remember.
But I failed her, and I failed you.
Miss Tamora, I never once blamed you for what happened.
I know, but that doesn't change the fact that I couldn't acquit her. She was executed because I didn't do enough.
Inverse aura black quill. Oof.
Yeah. When you asked me to train you to be an attorney, I was blinded by my desperation. I felt so alone and helpless. I wanted someone, anyone, to carry this burden with me. So how pathetic must I have been that I'd look for that in a grieving 10-year-old child? When I looked at you, all I wanted to see was myself. I saw a hurt and broken person who wanted revenge on the nobility. But I was too self-centered to realize that you were nothing like me. You care about people. You cared more about saving your clients than harming the nobility. I think I knew all along, but I just refused to see it. Maybe you were right about me.
What?
Maybe I was just using you to make myself feel better. I took you from your home and forced you to dedicate your life to my dream. Maybe I never really cared. If I did care about you, I would have never pulled you into life like this. I'm sorry, and I can't even begin to apologize for doing that to you.
The eye shows that her feelings are genuine.
But does that even matter at this point?
I've been thinking long and hard about this. I want to forgive you, Miss Tamora, but I don't know if I can.
I don't blame you.
But I want to try.
She looks away from you for a moment as she wipes a single tear.
Miss Tamora?
No, don't call me that.
What?
If you can truly find it in your heart to forgive me, I want things to be different this time. I'm not your superior nor your mentor anymore. We're equals now. So call me by my first name.
Oh, okay, Ruby.
Saying it feels really strange after all these years, but you hope that you can get used to it.
Alright. Anyway.
Right, I almost forgot the entire reason why I came here.
What is it?
I didn't just come here to reconcile. I actually need your help with something.
Okay.
I need you to help me speak to the Eye Taker.
Tyrion?
I know, considering the circumstances, it would probably strain your partnership with him even more.
Tyrion.
But if you could just tell me where he is, I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't get traced back to you.
Tyrion. The Eye Taker is dead.
What?
He died right after you convicted Beatrice. He was lynched by a mob of civilians.
What?
Everyone's saying that it was some sort of retaliation from House Freyka. Didn't you notice that he didn't send anyone after you?
But Eris said...
Wait a minute.
Then why would Eris say that then?
Who's Eris?
What? You've met her before. She has long black hair, she wears a black dress. I guess she really liked black. But anyways, she's the Eye Taker's daughter.
Tyrion? The Eye Taker's daughter has red hair.
What? She was there when we spoke to him during Beatrice's trial.
That's right. What are you talking about?
Eris, girl, leave us. We're trying to talk to our mom right now. Back the fuck up. We're talking to our mom. We're having time with our mom right now. Please leave us alone.
She was never at that meeting.
What?
What is going on? She was clearly there. If it weren't for her intervention, the Eye Taker would have attacked at that very moment. Why are you remembering things differently?
No.
Tyrion, what's wrong?
Wait. Who has... I would have to play the entire game again. Never mind. We're gonna avoid that line of thought for now.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Part of you
Really hopes that you're wrong about this. Why are Ruby's memories different from yours? That's the only explanation you can think of, but why?
Her memories seem intact except for her memories of Eris. Since her disappearance, you've highly suspected that she was involved in this. Not only was she at the scene of the crime, but she went missing at the same time that Beatrice did. But you never thought to ask one question. Who is Eris Ilmater? Eris Ilmater is the Emperor. A flood of memories come back to you. Oh my god! Every time Celeste has run into Eris, she's been nervous. Even from like the very first introduction, she was nervous about Eris. There's still very little you know about demons. So, what's to say that one can't take the appearance of a human? But it's still a long shot. But there is one way to find out for sure.
Tyrion, talk to me. What's wrong?
Ruby, I'm about to do something stupid. If I fall unconscious, I need you to call Celeste and tell her to contact Lord Asclepius or the Archduke. Tyrion is like, so this killed me earlier today, but let's give it another shot.
What? If you're wrong about this, there's no way either of them will get here in time. But it's already late, and the trial resumes tomorrow. You can't waste any more time traveling to either of their locations.
Eris Ilmater, wherever and whatever you are, by the Eye of Horus, I issue upon you a divine edict. Release thy guards and manifest your blood contract with Ruby Tamora.
So, you finally figured it out, my dearest Tyrion.
This entire time, I've been chasing you.
You have! It's been so entertaining watching you scramble around.
You've been making contracts with people across Wyverngard. You took control of Arya and Beatrice. But why? Why would you want to do all any of this?
Oh, I can't possibly reveal all my secrets. This isn't the proper stage to have our final battle. But I suppose that you've come this far. So how about I give you a little gift?
Ruby's blood contract. Upon the signing this contract, he was half wrong. He's actually dead again right now. Oof. Upon signing this contract, Ruby Tamora grants the Empress of Discord access to her memories. At any time, the Empress may view any of all of Tamora's memories. In addition to that, the Empress may instantaneously change and alter her memories whenever she wishes. That's crazy.
What was that?
Ruby, Eris Ilmater is a demon. And she's not just any demon, she's the Empress of Discord. And you signed a blood contract with her. That's why you can't remember anything about her.
What? Tyrion, I swear on my life that I didn't know anything about this.
I know. She probably tricked you into signing this. Just like she tricked Arya.
Arya, what does the prosecutor have to do with this?
Come on, you two. I know things are kind of tense, but there's no need to... What are you holding? Is that a blood contract?
Celeste, Ares is the Empress of Discord.
What?
It was her the entire time. She tricked Arya into signing a blood contract with her. And she probably controlled her and Beatrice to orchestrate the entire massacre.
What?
Tyrion, this is crazy. I know I was scared of her that one time, but how could Ares be a demon? She looks nothing like Marna. I know how unbelievable... Oh,
I know how unbelievable it is, but I used my divine edict with her name. That wouldn't have worked unless she was a demon.
yeah, I guess I can't disagree with that. Also, you did what? You died last time.
We'll need to contact the Grand General immediately. But if she's really a demon, is it even possible to arrest her?
It's already been a day. For someone like her, that would be more than enough time to skip town.
We'll need to speak with the Archduke about this. Thank you, Ruby. You've helped us more than you could ever know.
Yeah, of course.
Celeste, let's meet up with everyone. We'll need to discuss our next course of action.
Right.
You're about to leave Ruby's office when she stops you. Tyrion? Have you been using the Eye of Horus lately?
Yeah. I can't say much about what I'm doing right now, but I am in the middle of a case.
It's just that...
What's wrong?
Never mind. I don't think it's my place to say anything.
Just fucking tell us, man. You should just... Enough of the secrets. Just tell us. Just tell us.
I think I'm just being my usual paranoid self. Girl, just tell us. I'm not the one with the ability to read minds anyways. So if you're not seeing it, it's probably nothing.
Okay.
I know you can't tell me about what you're doing. And I have no idea what could possibly involve the Kingsguard, Steelwind, and the Empress of Discord. But just stay safe, okay? You're the only family I have left.
I will. I promise.
Thank you.
You finally found the lead you've been looking for, but you're not sure where this will take you. Knowing what you know now, you're almost a little afraid of what might happen. Who is Eris? Why would she go to the trouble of orchestrating any of this? She not only impersonated the Eye Taker's daughter, she also pretended to be your friend. What is her goal in all of this? Hopefully, tomorrow will finally bring you the answers you're looking for. Oh.
Is something wrong, Commander?
Don't play dumb with me. They told me what you really are. What's your game, demon? Why would you just deliver yourself to our doorstep?
Oh, Oren, I put far too much work into this story to miss the final act. I can't wait to see how this ends.
You killed 3 people and enslaved an innocent girl. Is this some kind of game to you?
That's exactly what this is to me. I'll admit, looking back, it does feel a bit derivative, but I think I've done enough to differentiate myself from those that came before.
Good jokes, guys.
It's a shame about the timing of it all, though.
You're goddamn insane.
That took you long enough to notice. I guess the oafish Inquisition commander does have some observational skills after all.
Whatever. You just better not try anything.
You know I can't lie, so I'll reassure you. I promise. I won't harm anyone while I'm in this prison.
Ugh.
We're finally approaching the climax, Tyrion. No more deductions, no more talking. No more god-awful teasing when we both know who's really behind this. It's just me and you.
Would you like to save? I would. Okay, give me a second. I'm like skimming the how much is left of the... Okay, yeah, there's a hot lot. We can play for like another 10 minutes and still have a bunch to there's a bunch of stuff in this trial, so we can go for a tiny bit longer. We can probably do one cross-examination. She is so large. He's like, this fucking demon sitting at my feet? Come on, man.
Hello, your lordship. I think this is the first time that we've met. You're a lot smaller than I expected.
Who is this woman? Why have they brought a civilian before the scaled lord?
People of the court, thank you for your patience. Until now, we've known this woman as Eris Ilmater. Ever since the massacre, we've been trying to determine who orchestrated this. We only knew that Arya Steelwind signed a blood contract with a demon called the Empress of Discord. We still knew very little about this demon. We had no idea who they were or what they even looked like. But we know the truth now. People of the Wyvern Guard nobility, the woman on this witness stand isn't a civilian. She is a demon known as the Empress of Discord. I have no idea how, but her form is that of a human. Using this disguise, she entered the Grand Cathedral posing as Beatrice Frega's guide. She then aided the patron by using Beatrice Frega to help Arya Steelwind massacre members of the nobility.
Objection!
Why are we continuing with this? She's already admitted to taking part in the massacre. Let's force her to tell us who the patron is and be done with this.
How typical. The Grand General thinks he can solve all his problems with violence. But let me ask you this. Why are you assuming that the patron is human?
Why?
In Arya's contract, it says that the patron is the individual who gives the contract to her. How do you know that I'm not that individual? I go by many names. The Empress of Discord is only one of them. I really like that song.
If what you're saying is true, that makes this a simpler matter. We simply need to execute you for your crimes against this kingdom.
Haven't you forgotten what my underling said during Frega's trial? As a demon, I can never truly die.
So if demons can't die, can Tyrion die? I guess he's only a half Heavensborn.
If you destroy my body, I'll simply reform in the abyssal hells. I wonder, what might happen to your daughter if you were to draw my ire? You're prosecuting her and playing the villain. But I know the truth. You secretly care about her, don't you?
What nonsense are you spouting?
When you thought she had a mage blight, you had to prosecute her. You held on to the little hope that you could convict her and convince her to take a plea deal. As the king's wife, her position might have been salvageable. And you did all this so she could be with her beloved Aster.
Why?
But then it was revealed she signed a blood contract with me? That changed everything. Mage blight is one thing, but a demon owning her soul? She can't very well be a queen like this, now can she? You had to find out who the patron was before her trial ended, didn't you, Lucio? Otherwise, your beloved daughter would never be free. And you did all this because you felt bad for what you did to her.
Everything I've done is for the good of our Steelwind.
Is that what you were doing? Because the way I see it, you abandoned her for her entire childhood. You felt so guilty about killing her mother that you couldn't bear to face her.
No, Eris, stop this.
And you know what that did to her. You didn't just take away her mother, you took away her father, too. You starved her of any affection. She couldn't help but latch onto the first person to show her any kind of superficial kindness.
Eris?
She didn't fall in love with Aster. She became obsessed with him. She stopped being her own person, and she clings to him like a parasite. She changed everything about herself to suit his likes and desires. And you know deep down in your heart, you know that if he's ever taken away from her, she will fall apart. Since I pity you so much, I'll let you in on a little secret. Killing me won't save your daughter, and you don't have the means to confine me. And even if you know who I am, your daughter will never be safe from my influence.
What?
But I suppose there's one possible way to break the contract.
What? What is it?
My contract will bind Arya Steelwind to the patron so long as they both live. If you truly want to free your daughter from my control, all you have to do is kill her. Do the poor thing a favor and put her out of her misery.
You little wretch. I will hunt you until the end of...
The dragon is like, shut the fuck up.
Enough. Lucio, we cannot antagonize her if we want to find out how this happened.
Is she right? Is Arya's fate truly doomed? There has to be something you can do.
I just don't understand, Eris. Why are you doing this? You're not a noble. You're probably not even a citizen of Livengard. Why would you go through all the trouble of doing any of this?
Tyrion, why are you here?
What?
Why do you constantly risk your life for the sake of others? Why do you seek justice in a clearly unjust world?
I don't know, honestly. It's the right thing to do.
I think you do know. The answer is simple. You do it because it satisfies you. You save people. You fight the system. You just love indulging in your own heroics, don't you? That's not... It feels good, doesn't it, Tyrion? You know that you're the only righteous person in an unjust society. When you succeed, you're hailed as a hero. And if you fail, then it's society's fault, not yours. No matter what happens, you can take solace in the knowledge that you're so much better than everyone else. That superiority you feel over them must be intoxicating. Your divine blood makes it so you just can't resist giving into it. But just as your divine blood compels you to do good, my hellish blood compels me to do the opposite. I just can't help but take every opportunity to make you all suffer. My entire purpose is to see each and every one of their faces contorted in agony and despair. Humanity is a stain on the world. They're worthless parasites who steal, maim, and kill to get what they want. That's all they are, and I despise those who try to pretend they're anything but different.
You're wrong, Eris. Humanity is so much more than you realize, and I truly pity you if that's all you see in us.
Oh, so now it's us. That actually just reminded me. There's something I hate even more than humanity. I despise the Celestials of the upper planes who go against the natural order. They condemn and admonish beings like me, all while watching humanity suffer from their secluded little heaven. They realized that humanity would never willingly choose good over evil, so they created the Heavensborn to tip the balance in their favor. It's so self-indulgent it makes me want to puke.
I desperately needed a drink. Sorry, hold on. As I die. Eris's voice is a lot on my throat. Just committed to that a little too early.
That's what the Heavensborn are?
It is. I've made quite a hobby out of breaking them and sending them back to their creators. I throw them into the deepest pit of despair before extinguishing their lives. There has been no greater joy in my eternal life. And it took a lot of work to get you right where I needed you, Tyrion.
Wait, are you saying?
You asked me why I did this, didn't you? My actions that day were all for you, my dearest Tyrion. So I could see the despair on your face when you realized the truth. Tyrion?
No.
Whisper, 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 whisper.
Objection!
That's enough out of you, you witch. Lucio? Cuthbert, you promised me that we would save my daughter together. I'm sorry, You said those words to me with such conviction, yet here you stand, quivering like a grunt in his first battle. Are a few meager doubts enough to force a retreat from you? Is that all it takes to defeat the infamous Tyrion Cuthbert?
He's probably desperate at this point. If Eris is the patron, there's very little hope for Arya. Unlike Beatrice's, her blood contract was short and concise. There was very little room for interpretations. You probably can't dispute it either. But what kind of attorney would you be? No. What kind of friend would you be if you didn't see this through?
Eris, we didn't call you here today to wax poetic with you. The people you've harmed have a right to know what you did that day. So either give us your testimony or get out.
Even now, you're still undeterred. I really do love that about you. Still, I do wonder how long that will last.
I'm trying to decide if I actually want to do this one.
It's true. I was the one who masterminded this. I knew about the king's funeral at the Grand Cathedral, so I forced Beatrice Frege to allow me to accompany her. When I was there, I used my contracts with Beatrice Frege and Arya Steelwind to compel them to act against their will. And through the actions of Beatrice Frege and Arya Steelwind, I facilitated the deaths of Lloyd von Sanctus, Coraline Sybil, and Garrick Pierce. The only motivation for my actions that day was to harm Tyrion Cuthbert's friends and make him suffer.
Which tells me there's something else going on here, clearly, because she just straight out said that.
And before you asked, aside from my thralls, I was acting alone that day. I didn't follow direct or indirect orders from anyone.
Your testimony is pretty thorough.
Of course, I am a demon after all. Since I'm unable to lie.
Oh wait, she's unable to lie. I still think there's something going on just beyond, like, I want to make Tyrion suffer.
Since I'm unable to lie, I thought it would be best to be as detailed as possible. That way there's no room for doubt. Isn't that wonderful, Tyrion?
Ugh, she's definitely playing with you. She may not have technically lied, but she's definitely not acting in good faith. You should look at her testimony more closely. All right, I'm actually going to stop because now my throat hurts. But we are absolutely finishing this next week. We don't actually have like a ton left. Like we have this. We literally have like we have this case. This is the last trial portion of this game. There's multiple like cross examinations, but this is the last like trial portion, and then I suspect a bunch of talking at the end. But if we finish early next week, I'll just transition into a work stream. I have to consider what game I might play next. I need to talk to Ronnie. We might be switching up if we're going to continue doing Fridays. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to go into grad school, but we have a few months until that would start if I do get into the school that I'm applying to right now. But I'm thinking that maybe when I do get into school, like I'll drop a day. And if I do, that might be Friday. Because Ronnie is also very busy right now. I just hit everything. So, yeah, I need to talk to Ronnie, because if we do decide to take a break, then I might play something that we originally were going to play on Fridays instead. Do you have anything else to say? I don't know if Tony is streaming tomorrow. If she's not, I'm going to do a work stream because my statement of purpose needs to be done in a draft by tomorrow. For me. For my brain. If we do have Tony stream tomorrow, then I'll be at Tony stream. But the next stream will be Thursday. Not sure about Friday. Next Monday we'll finish this, and then we will talk about what we're gonna do next. Yeah, I will not say thank you so much. It's bad. I need to go maybe make some tea. I need to maybe start doing vocal exercises before stream, but also Eris's voice is really gravelly and at the front of my throat, and it hurts. After so much speaking from her. But yeah, that's all. If I've uploaded a ton of VODs, I'm doing my best. And yeah, so if anything, I'll see you all Thursday for Zero Time Dilemma, and yeah. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me through this night of many reveals, and I'll talk to you all later. All right, good night. Bye.